Greetings, Pete Einstein with you again, walking through my book, The Inmate Within, Prison Ministry, A Haven of Hope. We did a little preface, a little background information on me and SonPower Ministries, which has been fruitful and happening for over 28 years. And right now we're going to get into chapter 1 of the book, The Inmate Within, Prison Ministry, A Haven of Hope. It's the inmate profile, and it talks about the facts and figures and statistics of the prison system. Now, that may sound boring and dry, but let me tell you, it is not. And when I say this is a hope-giving book, when you hear some of these facts and figures, you may say, wow, that doesn't sound very hopeful. But those facts and figures are without God in the mix. So as a nation, we seem to have a rather morbid fascination with this thing called the prison experience. And it is buttressed in some of the music and the videos that the kids and young people and not so young people are watching and ingesting today. Sort of a thug lifestyle, guns, sex, money, getting paid, taking what's not ours and thinking it's somehow an inalienable right. But you know, in spite of these documentaries on the prison system, even reality shows that people get drawn into, we have to get to the reality of what we're dealing with in our society. And God tends to look at things differently than you and I do. Isaiah 55:8 says, your ways are not my ways, your thoughts are not my thoughts, declares the Lord. And 'twas ever thus. As a society, you and I tend to categorize sin. And we also definitely categorize crime. So telling a lie is not as big a sin to us as murdering somebody. In the prison system, stealing $1,000 from the booster Little League fund is not as horrible a crime as going into a bank and robbing at a gunpoint and shooting a teller. But to God, we have to understand that sin is sin. And we like to have statistics and facts and figures to measure stuff in our world around us, and usually bigger is better. And when we get into the prison system, we're talking big. This is a big business. How big, you may ask? From the county to the state to the federal level, total expenditures for 1 year. If we had time, I'd ask you to send in your guesses. I'm going to give you the answer. $48 billion, with a B, billion dollars a year. And that breaks out to about $31,000 to house one inmate. Those are your tax dollars and my tax dollars at work. Now, what's this mean? If a legislator, a representative, a senator gets a prison built in his district in some far out of the way, distressed area, he's going to be reelected. If he gets 2 of them, he's set for life. It's big, big business. In this world, within a society, there are 2,300,000 juvenile offenders and adults behind bars. Understand something, 95% of them are going to be released back into our society. And chances are 1 in 31, over 3% of the population, that's you and me, will be affected somehow, some way by the prison experience. In the prison system, even though African American males represent 10% of the population, they're 37% of the prison population. Followed by white men at 32% and Hispanic men at 22%. As far as women are concerned, half of the women are white females, followed by 25% African American women and 20% Hispanics. This is the breakdown. And there are a lot of folks who are spending undue amounts of time within the system and are repeat offenders. National statistics show that the first year after being released from jail is the most critical for a former inmate. However, my experience and God's insight has shown me through my 25 plus years that the first 3 weeks or month after being released are a critical time for men and women, and will determine perhaps whether or not they go back to prison or not. At the end of each chapter of The Inmate Within, I have a little key verse or a little key statement. Sometimes they have to do with the chapter, sometimes they don't. This one does. It says this: the United States incarcerates more people per capita than any country in the world. That's more people than communist China, more people than Russia. And so we need God. We need God's hand and his hope and his power and his sovereignty. So stay tuned. We're going to keep walking through this wonderful adventure. The Inmate Within, Prison Ministry, a Haven of Hope. If you're interested in a copy, $20 donation or more, should you desire, go to www.theinmatewithin.com. There you'll also find the SonPower Ministries P.O. Box address. If you'd like to send a check, mail it to the P.O. Box. You can order securely on the website with your credit card, and you can order credit cards securely on Amazon as well. With each signed copy of my book, you'll get free a CD of my original Christian contemporary music. So until next time, Pete Einstein saying God bless you, thank you, and stay tuned.